Hey class, welcome to your first real lesson in 7th grade, and it's virtual. One thing I want to say about virtual is I can't see your faces as you're going through this, and so if you're having trouble, make sure that you reach out to me, and I'd be more than willing to help you out. And it's really on you if you learn this or not when in this virtual setting that we're in, for the reasons that I stated. So we're going to go over adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing decimals. And the rest of the week, we're going to be working on fractions because I know some people get scared with fractions, but so that's why we're spending one day on decimals. Okay. Anybody who has trouble needs to reach out to me so that I can invite you to a small group this week during some times that I have, and we can work on that together. Now, adding, subtracting, decimals are really, really simple, but you need to remember the rule. The rule is, look up here, line up the decimals. Line up the decimals. You see I have 5 exclamation marks right there? That means I'm saying, line up the decimals. Okay? That's just to help you remember. Line them up. Okay? So what that looks like when I say line them up is if I have 14 and 971 thousandths and I'm adding 9 and 99 hundredths to it, what I would do is I would first write down my first number, and then I will put my decimal down and then write my second number. So I see the 9's on the left side of the decimal and 99's on the right side of the decimal. And then I can add from here. But wait, this 1 doesn't have anything under it. What am I going to do? Well, if there's nothing under it, it usually means that it's a 0 there. You can add a 0 or not add a 0. It's the same thing. So we're going to go ahead and add this up. So 1 plus 0 is 1. 9 plus 7 is 16. 9 plus 9 is 18, plus 1 is 19. I'm going to bring my decimal down. 9 plus 1 is 10, and 10 plus 4 is 14. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay? So let's say I was going to put this in my handy dandy Griddable, but you can see here that I only have 2 spaces after the decimal, and over here I have 3 spaces after the decimal, three places after the decimal. So what I need to do is I need to round this number. All right, so this number is going to be rounded. If I'm going to round it to this place, I need to look at this number. Now, if this number right here is 5 and above, I might as well go to the next number up for this 6. But if it's below 5, meaning 4, a 3, a 2, and a 1, I'm just going to keep it at 6. Okay, so this is actually a 1, so I'm going to keep this at 6. So this means I'm going to round it down. So really my answer here to put in the Griddable, only to put in the Griddable, is 24 and 96 hundredths. So I would put 24. So I look at the decimal. What's to the left of the decimal is 24. So I'm going to look at the decimal here. What's to the left of the decimal is 2 and a 4. 24. Now I'm going to go back here to the answer. What's to the right of the decimal? 9, 6. So I'm going to go 9, 6. And then you fill these in nice and neat. I'm not going to fill them in really how you're supposed to, because you're supposed to fill it in completely, in my opinion, because that doesn't work very well with my pen. All right. So we should all have that down. Now we are going to go. Let me erase all this real quick. Now we are going to go to number 2. So number 2 says 103 plus 17 and 56 hundredths. So I'm going to put 103 here. Uh-oh, it doesn't have a decimal. What am I going to do? Well, if a number doesn't have a decimal, that means there is a decimal, but it doesn't show. It's really 103.00, But just like with money, you're not going to say I have $103.00. That's why they don't put the decimal. But really, what you have is $103 with 0 cents. Okay, so if I'm talking about money, that's why I can add a 0.00 here, and it's still the same number. So now I'm going to add my decimal back here, and I'm going to put 17 because that's what's to the left of it, and to the right of it is 56. So I'm going to add these together. So 6 plus 0, 6. 5 plus 1, 5. Bring down my decimal. 7 plus 3 is 10. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus another 1. Okay, so I can actually put this in here pretty nicely. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 120 and 56 hundredths. So I look, what's to the left of my decimal? 120. So I'm going to put 120. To the right of my decimal is 56. You see I have that to the right of the decimal, and then I would fill it in. Okay, so I'm actually, so now we're going to go over, I didn't fill in the bubbles here because I think you know how to fill in bubbles. So now we're going to subtract them. So basically what I need to do is I need to line up the decimals. All right, what's to the left of my decimal? A 3. What's to the right of my decimal? A 6 and then a 2. And then I can subtract these. So now I can subtract them. 5 minus 2 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. 9 minus 3 is 6. All right, so when I put it in this griddable, what's to the left of my griddable? I have a 6. I mean, to my of my decimal is a 6. To the right of my decimal is a 1 and then a 3. And then I would fill them in. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over the next one. So it's first I need to line up my decimals, but this one doesn't have a decimal. Well, we talked about that. I don't say I have $15.00, but I know I have $15 and no cents left over. So I'm going to add my decimal point 00 to it. And the only reason I add 2 zeros is just because it accounts for most things. You could add more zeros if you want, but in this case, the other number after the decimal has a 3 and a 2. So I'm gonna, what's to the left of the decimal? A 5. What's to the right of the decimal? A 3 and a 2. Gonna subtract these. Now, 0 minus 2, can't really do that. So I'm gonna need to borrow from over here. So I'm gonna borrow 10 from over here. That turns that into a 10. Actually gonna need to borrow 1 from over here to get this to a 10. So 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 3 is 6. Bring my decimal down. 4 minus 5, I can't do that, so I'm gonna have to take from here. And then 14 minus 5 is going to be 9. So we have a 9.68. Go up here. First of all, what's to the left of the decimal? A 9. So I'm gonna go to the decimal. To the left of the decimal is a 9. To the right of a decimal is a 6 and then an 8. And you know how to bubble in. Okay, so next thing we're gonna go over is multiplying decimals. Now this one is pretty easy. You just basically multiply. You don't have to worry about lining up the decimals here. Okay, make sure you write the anchor chart in your notebook. The anchor chart that's in this PowerPoint or this Nearpod presentation in your notebook. Okay, I'm also updating my class notebook so you can have that stuff there and turn it in for easy 100. So we have 1.3 times 0.5. And I can just multiply that. Now these just so happen to line up, but as you'll see in the next one, it's not so pretty. So I'm gonna go 5 times 3 is 15. Put the 1 up here, 5 down here. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 1 is 6. And what I need to do, one consideration you need to do is you need to count how many decimal places are in all of the numbers. So in this case, I have 1 decimal place here, 1 decimal place, And in this case, I have 1 decimal place. So on my answer, I need to make sure I move it over 2 decimal places. I add these 2 numbers here. Okay, so automatically the decimal is going to be over here. I move it over once, twice. So my answer is really 0.65 or 0 and 65 hundredths. Okay. Now, how would I put that in a griddable? I would do that by seeing over here, I have a 0 here. So I could put the 0 in. It's not an issue. And then over to the right of the decimal, I have a 6 and then a 5. Okay. And then I would bubble these in. So going over the next one. So you don't have to line them up, just write them down when multiplying decimals. So we have 31 and 2/10 plus 8 and 17 hundredths. Okay, we have 3. So over here we have 1 decimal place. So I'm gonna write 1 decimal place. And then over here I have 2 decimal places, 2 digits after the decimal. So I'm gonna write 2 decimal places. So in my answer, I need to move over 3 decimal places. Okay, now I'm gonna commence to multiplying this monstrous number. So 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 7 times 3, 7, 14, 21. So I'm going to write 21 here since I don't have any numbers left. Now I'm going to add a 0 for the placeholder because I'm done with this 7. Now I'm going to work on the 1. And the first number that you need to put down needs to be directly under this 1. Okay? So 1 times 2 is 2. You see how that's directly under the 1. 1 times 1 is 1. I almost got confused here because I forgot to say I like to erase these. All right. 1 times 3 is 3. Now that I'm done with this, I need to add 2 placeholders here because what my first number that I write down needs to be directly under this 8. Y'all see how everything is lining up? That's how yours should look. Everything should line up. So 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 1 is 9. 8 times 3 is 8, 16, 24. Now I'm going to add it all up. So 4, 8 plus 2 is 10. Wait, that's a 0. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 plus 3 is 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 4 plus 1 is 5, and 2, bring it down. So I said 3 decimal places right here. So I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3 decimal places. And this is my answer. But let's say that they're trying to get you to do this in a griddable. I have 3 decimal places here. I only need 2 decimal places here. So I need to look at this number. Is it a 5 and above to round up? No, it's a 4 and below. Anything below 5, round down or keep it the same. So this is a 0. I'm just going to keep it the same. So now the answer is 254. Well, not the answer, but the rounded answer, I should say. And 90 hundredths. So to the left, I have 254. So I'm going to write 254. And to the right, I have 9. So you could write this as a 9 because 0 doesn't really have a value, or you could write this as 90. If it helps you, write the 90. If you know that you can do it with or without, you can just write the 9, no matter what. Either way. So you know how to bubble, so I'm not going to go ahead and bubble for you. What we are going to do is we are actually going to go into dividing decimals. Now, I actually have 4 different problems for you because I want to make sure that we completely understand how to divide decimals. All right. I want to make sure I have as much information for you as possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put my griddable right here and go from there. Come back over here to number 1, and we'll go back to that griddable here in a bit. So this right here is called my dividend. It's what's being divided. And this one is called my divisor. It's how many groups I'm dividing it into. So my dividend is always being divided, and that goes inside of the operations house. And my divisor always goes outside of the division house. Now, what people trip up on is the rule for dividing decimals. And so the rule is that you really want to divide by a natural number. You don't want to divide by a rational number. You want to divide by a natural number. Natural numbers are like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, on to infinity. And so in order to create 2.6 into a natural number, I just need to multiply it by 10 or just move the decimal over once. And if I do that here, in order for it to kind of be the same, I need to also do it here. So what I'm really looking at is I move the decimal place over. So now I'm looking at 26, and I'm dividing 576 by 26. Now what I like to do is I like to go ahead and add a 0 there here. And what I also like to do is I like to bring my decimal up right above it. So if it's in between the 6 and the 0, I'm going to make sure it's up there right above it. So what I like to do is I like to at least create a couple of multiples here. Some people know how to do this. So one way you could do this is you can just add these up. So 26 plus 26 is 12, 4, 5. So the next one would be 52. And then, so adding another 26 would be 8 and 7. So the next one would be 78. Adding another 26 would be 8, 16, so that'd be 14, 7, 8, 9, 10, 104. So I'm just going to stop right now. And if I need more, I can add more 26s together. All right, so does 26 go into 5? No. So I'm going to put a fat 0 up there. All right, now does 26 go into 57? It does. It goes into it once, twice. Okay. So times 2 would actually give me 52. Now I chose that number because if I went times 3, it would give me 78. That's too big. All right, so I'm left over with 5 here. I'm going to bring this down. Now I have 56. Well, times 3 would be 78. That's too much. So I'm going to go for another 2, which would be 52. And now I have 4 left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring down this 0. Now 26 into 40 is just 1 time, and that'll be 26. Let me go ahead and make some room, make some space. Okay. So that would just be 26. When I subtract these, I can't do 0 minus 6, so I need to borrow 1. I need to borrow 1, so that's going to turn into a 3. So 10 minus 6 is 4. 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, I can add another 0 here and bring it down. But I only went to 104, so I'm going to have to add another 26 here. So that's going to be a 10. And now I have 3, and that's going to be 1. So it's going to be, so times 5 is going to be 130. That's pretty close, because if I add another 20 to this, that's going to be 150. So I'm going to do times 5 here, and then I'm going to do, that's going to be 130. That's going to leave me over 10. If I add another 0 here, and for all my purposes, unless it states otherwise, I really want you to go to this number, but we have to figure out if we need to round it up or round it down. So we need to do one more number than the second digit after the decimal. So now we're doing 100. Well, times 4 gives me 104, so I need to do times 3. I don't really need to do anything after this because I know I have a 3 here, so therefore I'm not going to need it for my griddable. So we are going to go over to our griddable and messing things up again. We're going to go over to our griddable. Our answer was 22.15, and I'm only saying like that so you know how to do it. So it was 22.15. So on the left side we have 22, on the right side we have 15, and you would fill in the two box here, the 2 box here. If I was doing this on pencil and paper, I would make it really dark. I would cover everything, but my pen acts weird when I press on it too long. Oh, I messed something up. Look at me. I would have to erase that and then go to this 5. Okay, and have to do all that. So, but I'm going to go back here. And we're going to work on the next one together. So let's work on this next one. So number 2. Let me create some space here. So the way I set it up is the exact same way. This is my dividend that goes inside the division box, and my divisor goes outside the division box. Now I move this over once to make it a natural number. So I'm also going to do the same thing over here. Move it over once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase everything else out of here. Move it over once. All right, now let's create our multiples. So I have 52. Actually, I'm not going to create it here. I'm going to create it on this other side. So I have 52 plus 52 would be 52 times 2, right? So I have 4 here and 110 plus another 52 would be a 6 here, a 5 here, and a 1 here. So this will be, the next one would be 104 times, that's times 2, times 3 would be 156 plus another 52 times 4 would be 208. Let's just do another one, and we'll create more if we need to. And then times 5 would be 260. All right. So does 52 go into 9? Of course not. So I'm going to put a 0 here. Does 52 go into 92? Yes, it does. Times 2 would be 104. It's a little too big. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a 1 and put 52. So 0 here and 4 here. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 4. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 4. Okay. So I need to bring down my 3. And now we're at 403. Uh-oh. So I'm going to have to add some up. What I like to do is I know that I'm not going to do that today. So we're going to have to add some more up. So we're going to add another 52. That's going to be 2. 6 plus 5 is 11. And that's going to be 312. Not quite there yet. Plus another 52. Wait, let me write that down. 312 plus another 52 will give me 463. So 364 plus another 52 will be 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. And 4. That's 416. 416. Oh, we didn't add as many as I thought we would add. We only added 3. So to not go over 403, but get as close as we can, we would have to go to times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 7. So I'm going to add a 7 here, and times 7 gets me to 364. So when I subtract these, I have to borrow, because 3 minus 4, I can't do that. So I'm going to have to borrow 10 from here, and that would be a 3. I'm going to have to borrow from here, so that's going to be a 9. Now I have 13. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So 13 minus 4 is 9. Don't be afraid to use your fingers. 9 minus 6 is 3, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So now I have 39 left over. I'm going to bring this 5 down. Now we're trying to reach 395. Well, I'm going to use another 7. So that'd be 364. So 5 minus 4 is 1. 9 minus 6 is 3. So it's 31 left over. Uh-oh. I'm at the decimal. Go ahead and bring it up and add a 0. Now, we're looking at 310. So 310, what gets close to 310? Well, that's a little over 310, so we need 260. So that's times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5. So times 5 gives me 260. So 0, 0. Okay, now I'm going to have to borrow 10 from here, and I'll make that 11. So 11 minus 6 is 5. 2 minus 2. Okay. I can add another 0 here. Uh-oh, now I'm going to 500. What are they doing to me? My hand hurts. But I will go on. 52. Because this problem will not best me. So 6 plus 2 is 8. 5 plus 1 is 6 plus 4. So now the next one will be 468. All right, now I'm going to go over here. 468 plus 52. Actually, we really don't have to go past that. So because, well, let's try it. So that'd be 10, 11, 12, and 4 plus 1 is 5. So that's a little over that. So we're going to stick with this one. That's times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 9. Woo! This is working my endurance. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 468 from that, and I'm going to need to borrow. This is going to turn into a 10, but it's really going to turn into a 9 because I need to borrow 1 here. So that's going to be 2. 9 minus 6 is 3. 4 minus 4. Okay. Now I'm going to come over here. Add only 1 more, because that's all I'm going to ask you to do is to the second decimal place after the decimal. Second place after the decimal. But you're going to need that third decimal place for the griddable. So don't forget that. 5 and above, round it up. 4 below 5, so 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going to keep it the same number, which is basically, it's called rounding it down. So I'm going to add this, 320. That would be 312, which is times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 6. I don't need to do anything else because I know this 6 is going to make me round this up. So this needs to round up. Oh, and if that rounds up, that's going to make this round up because I can't put a 10 here. I can't put a 10 here. That I could put a 0 here, and that 1 is going to go to here, which is going to make it a 6. So this answer is really 177 and 6/10. I can also write a 0 here because that 9 turned to a 10, and that 1 in the 10 went to the 5, which made it a 6. So let me go to my griddable. Okay. And I am going to put, so to the left of the decimal, I have 177. And to the right of the decimal, I have 60. Okay. And then I would bubble it in completely and dark. So I'm going to go back. And since we're done with this, I'm going to go ahead and erase this and erase some of this, because you can always go back in the video and see what I put there. And to prep for the space we may need, I'm going to bring this down. All right, now we are working on number 3. We're working on number 3. So dividend inside the house, 3.86. Divisor outside of the house. I move this over once. I move this over once. All right. So I don't need to move this over twice and make this a natural number. I only need to make this a natural number. Okay. In case you were thinking that, I know some of you were, because our other problems were like that. No, I move this inside decimal as many times as I move this side this decimal. So I move this decimal once. So I'm only going to move this decimal once. Okay. So let's rewrite this. What it should be is really 38 and 6/10 divided by 121. So let's create our multiples out here, at least 3 of them, because 121 is kind of a big number. 121 plus 121 will be times 2. So that'd be 242, 242 plus 121 would be 363. So 363. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Can you guess what the next number would be? 121 would be 121 would be, let's see, 3 plus 1 is 4, 6 plus 2 is 8, so 484. And I think I'm going to stop there because I don't need to go any further. So does it go into 3? No. Does it go into 38? No. I need to bring this decimal up. And does it go into 386? Yes, it does. It goes in 386, not once, not twice, but 3 times without going over. So we're going to put a 3 here. And we're going to put 363 and subtract that. So 6 minus 3 is 3. 8 minus 6 is 2. And 3, so that's 0. So I'm going to add a 0 here and bring it down. Now, does it go into 230? Yes, it does. But times 2 is a little bit too big, so it's going to be times 1. And I'm going to put 121 here. That's going to be, we're going to make this a 2 and then a 10. That's going to be 9. That's going to be 0. That's going to be 1. So add another 0 because I just need one more. Uh-oh, they're getting us to go to 1,090. So I'm going to add another 121. That's going to be, let's see, 5, 10, and 6. Plus another 121. It's going to be 6, 2, and 7. Plus another 121. Actually, I need to add these over here. So it's going to be 605 and 726 is going to be 7, 4, and 8, 847, plus another 121 is going to be 7, it's going to be 8, it's going to be 6, and that's going to be 9. 968. Now, if we go another 100, we'd be at 1,068. So we don't need to go past that. So this goes into it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different times to get to as close to 1,090, but not go over. Remember, we only needed this third decimal point in order to figure out whether this 1 needs to go up to a 2 or stay at a 1. So since it's an 8, I need to round this up to a 2. So our answer is going to be 0.32 or 0 and 32 hundredths. So I'm going to put a 0 here and 32 hundredths. Okay, you see how that that decimal matches up here? All right. Now, let's go over number 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete some of this. So that we can distinctly see what number 4 is. All right, number 4. Oh my goodness, what did I do? You know what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete one here, and I'm going to add that 4 over here. I'm only doing that to change the problem. I'm not doing that for a specific reason. You don't have to do that. You shouldn't do that. Okay. So this is my divisor, the first one. My dividend, My dividend is the first one. So I'm going to put 64 and 824 thousandths. Okay. And I'm going to divide this by the divisor. Let me fix that. I don't like my division house there. I don't like that one either, but it's closer. And then 796 hundredths. So I move this over twice. I'm sorry that I just jumped. My cat just scratched me. So forgive me for that. So I'm going to move this 7 and 96 hundredths twice. So to make it a natural number twice, and then I take this decimal and I'm going to move it over twice. I'm not going to move it over 3 times to make this a natural number. Only twice. As much as I move this, I'm going to move this. Okay, that is what I see most students have the hardest time with, is to figure out how many times to move the decimal. Do this one first, and then move this one the same amount. So we're actually going to rewrite this. We're going to say 6482.4, and then we're going to go to 796. All right. So let's create some multiples here. 796 plus 796. Okay. So this is 12, 18, 19. 14, 15. So the next one would be 1592. Let's do another one. Plus 796 is going to be 8, 18. It's going to be 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And that's going to be 2. So it's going to be 2,388. Let's just do one more. Plus 796. So this is going to be 8, 14. That's going to be 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 8 is 18. 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 is 11. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's going to be 3,184. Hopefully we don't have to go higher than that. So let's see. Does it go into 6? No. Does it go into 64? No. Does it even go into, oh my gosh, we're going to have to go higher than this. Does it have to go into 648? Can it go into 648? No, because it's bigger than that. So it's going to have to go into 6,482. We're going to have to do some more multiplication here. So actually, what if you get tired from doing this, you can always just take guesses here. So let's just try. If 4 is 3,000, then let's try 8. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So this is going to be 48. 8 times 9 is 72. Plus 4 is 76. And then 8 times 7, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 56, 64, wait, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. 56 plus 7, 56 plus 7 is 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 63. Yes, we got it right. All right, so we're going to do times 8 here, and that's going to be 6,368. So I got to borrow here, make that a 7, bring 1 here, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is the difference. So 4 is the difference. 7 minus 6 is 1, 4 minus 3 is 1. So I'm going to add this 4 down here. Oh, what I got to do for the decimal, bring it up. So my 4 goes down here. All right. How many times does it go into 1,144? Times 2 is a little bit too big, so it has to be times 1. So it's going to be 796 with what I'm subtracting. So we need to borrow here, make that a 3, 14, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. It's going to be 8 is the difference. Can't do that, so I'm going to need to borrow from here. And so that's going to be 13. So it's going to be 4. Can't do that, so I'm going to need to borrow here. It's going to be 3. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add a 0 and bring that down. Uh-oh. I did it on the wrong one, so let me go back. Okay. So I'm going to have to add a 0 here and bring that down. So 3,480. So what I'm going to do here, 3,480. Well, 3,184 is the closest we can get to it, and that's times 4. So 3,184. Let's see what the difference is. So this needs to turn into a 7, that 10, so that's going to be 6. This needs to turn, we need to borrow 1 from here. So that's 17. That's going to be 9. 3 minus 1 is 2, and that's going to be 0. So I'm going to add another 0 only for the griddable purposes, the rounding purposes, to get to the third decimal place. Now, some of these we can go on forever and ever and ever, but we don't want to do that. We only want to try to get to the answer that we need, unless we're looking for something specific and the application calls for going for more decimal places. Usually in 7th grade, that's not the case. So 2,960, that would have to be times 1, times 2, times 3. So that'd be times 3. It is below 5, so we need to round down, which is basically keep 4 where it's at. So this is going to be 8.14. So let's go back up to our griddable. Let's go back up to our griddable. And we have 8.14. What's to the left is an 8. What's to the right is a 1,4. And then I would bubble those in. That is all the problems for all the operations of decimals. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'd be glad to help you. And look forward to speaking to y'all this week about this.